Do you ever actually use the hand claps to sync up the audio?
Not anymore.
I don't.
Yeah. It was easier.
Right?
Right? It was easier when, like, it was on my iPhone. But now with this mic, I can't hear your audio.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna guess. So far it's worked.
There you go, yep. I don't use it. I just, because majority of the time, because there's a delay with the FaceTime, I'll just, like, shove the audio clip over just a little bit just so it sounds a little more natural. But I feel like we just do it for, like, force of habit or peace of mind now.
It's peace of mind. I think it's peace of mind 100%.
Right? We're professional.
Yeah. ER go. Hello, Cinema Peeps.
Hello, Cinema Peeps.
Hello.
Don't you just love our intros? We've got the best intros.
I know. One day we'll have like a professional one that just rolls every time. You know, like like the radio station where it's like, you're listening to 5 Jack Zoom Radio. That sounds definitely like a morning show. You wake up, drink your little coffee or tea.
Troy and Abed in the morning. Nights.
Oh man, Community.
Such a good show.
Right? Oh no. Would it be a podcast so I'm not yawning?
Nope.
My goodness gracious. Although I think I managed to cut most of them out. So, you know. For you guys it might seem new, but I yawn constantly. All the time. Obviously you guys cannot see, but I bought myself a professional little arm thingy. What's it called? Clamp arm? Whatever it is. To hold the mic. So now you don't have to hear me fucking hold it and go... Because in my head, I'm like, no, I'm holding it still. And then you listen to playback and you're like, no, not at all. Not in the slightest.
Well, it's very fancy. I'm also going to look into seeing if I have one here, because I think I do.
Hell yeah.
But the last podcast I edited, I noticed that I breathe into the microphone a little too much. So it gets a little annoying. So I'm going to try and make sure I keep this as like a decent amount away from my face, so that you're not just hearing this all the time. Like,
well, I think it's also because we edit the podcast, we tend to notice like stuff we do more.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, like, we'll shit at ourselves constantly, but I feel like we have improved in some avenues, because I remember editing the first couple, and we'd have a lot of, like, but, there's just, like, a lot of long pauses and stuff like that, and we'd use but and like. Oh, I remember one time, I can't remember who it was, but we used, like or but, like, 5 times. I was like, oh my god, nope, cut it out.
We just like our butts.
We do. We like big butts and we cannot lie.
Yeah.
Other brothers can't deny. We also like doing, I don't know if you noticed this, but I noticed this. It's one of my favorite is I think it's because we're stuck in our train of thought.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll say like the same sentence 3 times.
Yeah.
Well, like, but in the actuality of things. And you're like, oh my god, why?
Yeah.
And again, maybe it's just because you don't notice it in the moment. Because you think, no, I did it. I'm on track. I didn't lose my train of thought. And you listen to the playback and you're like, oh, nope. What is happening?
I know, yep. It's very cringy to listen to yourself in playback for sure.
Ooh, yar for sure. Yar, but minus getting the arm because the audio was sounding very clunky on my part. But... it's one of those things I don't feel I do very often for myself, which is, like, invest in myself, you know?
Treat yourself.
Well, no, I think there's a difference between treating yourself and then investing in yourself.
Yes.
Because to me, treating yourself is like, I've had a long day, I'm getting some McDonald's.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to spend some me time or something. Whereas, to me, investing in yourself is like, I have a passion or I have a dream I'm trying to do, and so I'm either buying equipment to either help further me in that cause.
Hell yeah.
Because I know, like, for me, it's like, well, and I mean, I hate to break this to everybody, but we don't actually make any money doing these quite yet.
I mean, what?
I know. What? Shocking.
Our 10-time award-winning, 11-time nominated podcast
exactly.
we don't make any money from?
I know. What? You'd think with all this fame, we would just be rolling in the dough. Rolling. You know, so I always find it, at least on my end, I don't know about you, but I always find it hard then to be like, well, should I invest in this? And again, it's always those things where it's like, well, this could help me become better. And on some level, I understand, like, I wasn't going to go out there and be like, what's the most $1,000 piece of equipment I can buy right now?
Right.
But if you, like, invest in yourself in just, like, kind of little things every so often, then that's not a bad thing.
In the end, it's worth it. You'll be rewarded back, hopefully, in the end for, you know, the little things here and there that you do. And yeah, like you said, we don't make any money from this, but the fact that you and I enjoy doing this, and then that's kind of the whole reason why we started Cinema Gals in the first place, was to have an excuse to still work together, because we enjoy making movies and filming together and just creating together. So yeah, just those little things to, you know, build it up, have fun, and then if, you know, it turns into something in the future, bonus.
Heck yeah. What's my thought? Do you find it hard to make those purchases for yourself, or you're like, nah, easy peasy lemon squeezy?
Yeah, I find it hard sometimes because, like, for me, it's, well, obviously, like you say, like, we don't make any money from this, so you don't want to go and drop, like, a bunch of money or $2,000 on, like, something that you don't know if it's only going to get used once, right? In that regard, yes, I can be kind of stingy with money that way, rightfully so. But yeah, I try to like talk myself into it. I'll look at the thing I'm you know, wanting to buy, and I'm going, okay, is this something I really truly need? Will it benefit me? And is it something that I'm going to want to continue using? Because I find if it's just something I want to have just to have in case I might, you know, decide to pick it up at some point in time in the future, then I'm like, maybe it's not worth it, you know? But if it's something you need on the regular, or something that you truly do want to commit to, like, you know, doing more every day or learning about more every day, then yeah, I think it's totally worth it. And it's just a matter of, you know, turning that mindset on for yourself, I guess. Because like you said, yeah, like investing in yourself, right? You have a passion for something, you want to pursue it, and if this is what's going to kind of help maybe light the fire, or, you know, light that spark a little bit brighter for you, or you have that excitement to be like, ooh, look at this, you know, cool new arm I've got, maybe I'll use it today. You get to see it when you wake up every day, so it's a good reminder to be like, hey, maybe I should record something today, or maybe I should mess around with this and see what else I can do today. So then, you know, it gives you some leverage for journeying down that path. Yeah.
Leverage. So I guess the end of that note is just, yeah, it's okay to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have the $2,000 to drop on whatever your dream is, cool, good for you. But little things here and there, you know, because then it also just helps build, like, what was my thought process? We were just talking about how good at thoughts we are, and I can't. Oh, okay, I remember now. So, like, for example, like, I have my DSLR camera. Like, I obviously dropped a lot of money for that, obviously, first go. But I've used it now for years. But, you know, I've bought, like, lenses over the years. Like, I didn't just drop all this money all at once. I was like, oh, well, this time around I'm going to save money to get this kind of lens. Or, you know, I'm going to hold back and I'm going to get something of this. I remember I don't think I have it anymore because my friend broke it. But I bought, like, this little tripod. It's, like, mini desk tripod. I think it was meant for, like, very light point and shoot cameras, but I used it on my DSLR to do the Lego videos because it was like perfect. Because trying to do the big, trying to set up the main tripod was just a pain in my butt, and it was very hard. Whereas the smaller one, I was able to get a lot closer to the Lego pieces, which just made it a lot easier to do stuff. And I used that for like years. So, and I think I got that at Walmart for like $20, not even.
Nice. So,
yeah, do a little investigative work. You could probably find what you need or didn't realize you needed. But yeah, always invest in yourselves.
And that's the beauty of, you know, shopping online nowadays and having, like, places like Wish or Amazon. Because I feel like some people, you know, rag on some of, like, the cheaper items you can get, especially for, like, like filmmaking and video creating and stuff like that. Like, sure, there are some that maybe you do want to invest in, you know, a little bit more money because you want to get the best quality. And again, if it's something you're wanting to pursue professionally, you should probably invest in that type of stuff. But there's some really decent stuff on, like, Amazon and Wish that you can get for, like, really affordable prices, and it's still pretty decent. Like, you don't need to have, like, fancy professional, like, $3,000 lighting sets, or, like, you know, like,
right.
Like, if anything, I'd say put the money into the camera at the very most.
Mm-hmm.
The camera is, where you should really drop the money. Everything else, you could probably find here and there.
Right? I remember at one point I was looking at a light set at Home Depot.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like a set of 2 or 3. They were only like $150 or something. But again, also, like, where the fuck do you store any of this shit?
Yeah.
If you live at home or if you just live in an apartment, like... That's gonna take up so much space.
You have a designated closet for it.
Right? That's where you get the 2-room apartment and one's just a filming room.
Right.
That's all it's
there
for.
You go. You do what you gotta do.
Right? Yard. So, I don't know if you've caught up, but have you started watching Mandalorian Season 2?
I didn't see the most recent episode. I saw the episode previous to that. I'm not actually watching the series full on through. I do need to start watching it myself, but my dad watches it, and so he kind of fills me in here and there on what's going on. We have a theory.
Ooh.
But continue.
Interesting.
Yes.
I was just curious if you'd watched the first couple episodes of this new season, because I really enjoyed season 1, but then hearing kind of other people's criticism of the show when they're like, oh, it's just a bunch of side quests, it was very hard going into season 2 and not feeling that and immediately being like, oh, side quest, damn it, no.
Yeah.
But they did that really cool, like, I don't know, a tease. I don't know if it's gonna pay off later on in the first episode of season 2. By showing the first kind of Mandalorian, I guess, the clone Mandalorian from the Clone Wars.
Yes.
That apparently he is
one of the Fetts, Jango Fett or Boba Fett, one of the two.
Yeah, Yar. I just remember my friends arguing about that. Well, he lived, and I was like, I don't know. Why are we fighting about this? Is it true? What?
See,
what?
That's part of the theory that my dad and I have.
Mm.
Yes.
Do you wish to share?
Yes, if you'd like, I can share it.
I'm interested.
So this could be complete BS. We don't know. We're just going off of, what we've seen and what we remember from the Star Wars stories. But yeah, my dad thinks that because Boba Fett, Jango Fett, whichever one it was that they cloned, to use as the starting point of all the stormtroopers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
His theory is that once this Mandalorian, because part of his whole religion with being a Mandalorian is you're not supposed to take your helmet off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the theory that he has is that when he goes to find these other Mandalorians, one of the Fets, whoever they were the original clones for the stormtroopers.
Mm-hmm.
Those stormtroopers got acquired by Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
And then somewhere along the line between Darth Vader's reign and then the new generation of Star Wars characters, they stopped using the clones.
Yes.
And started using human beings.
Correct. Yes.
Which is where Finn comes into play from the new Star Wars movies. And so he thinks that those clones got dumped somewhere or they rebelled and they just got out of there. And that's how these Mandalorians came to be. And so the theory is that these Mandalorians are the Mandalorian that the show is based off of. He's searching for these other Mandalorians, and he thinks that by the end he's going to find some Mandalorians, and then they're going to take all their helmets off and realize that it's all the same guy because they're all clones. And then he's got some sort of theory too about how because they had that technology to clone, that's where this baby Yoda comes from. He's actually a clone of Yoda. But I do know that this past episode, he did encounter some Mandalorians, and one took their helmet off. And
they did.
But is that a real Mandalorian, or were they just posing as Mandalorians? We don't know. So that's where the theory that we have comes from, and we don't know what's going to happen until we watch, I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Was my thought. My only comment about the newest episode with the other Mandalorians taking off their helmets, sorry for spoilers, people, but because they were saying that that's a different Kree or whatever, and you're right, maybe they're lying, because, they could be, but somebody posted a couple days ago the evolution of the one character.
Okay.
The one that Kate plays. The main redhead girl, who I apologize, I thought that was Bryce Howard.
Oh, but Bryce Dallas Howard or whatever?
Yeah. Which was awkward, but she did direct the episode, so I was partially right, but she wasn't in it. I got her, because, man, Kate with red hair, did not recognize her, even from the Flash. I mean, the Flash, she has blonde hair, so I guess maybe that was the whole thing, but whatever. The point of the story is that somebody posted, I think it was the evolution of her character from the Clone Wars to now. So she is a staple character, so what I'm assuming is a Mandalorian, just based on that info. Because in all three pictures, she did seem to have, like, the suit. So. And she was mentioning something about a dark blade, which, again, please don't hate us. I enjoy Star Wars, but I'm not engrossed in it.
Yeah.
Kind of had the same conversation with Kathy last night when we were playing Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
Just being like, you know, it's fun to watch, but, like, not super invested in it, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So apparently there's some sort of plot thing, and maybe it's connected from those shows. They're both cartoon shows, FYI, that they showed her from. But it would be interesting if they were, like, live Mandalorians, because, I mean, the first episode there was that guy who wasn't a Mandalorian at all.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the whole thing with this season is, like, what is a Mandalorian? What does it mean to be Mandalorian?
Right.
And seeing all these people take their masks off, and he's like, what? What? Although I do like the idea of Baby Yoda being a clone.
Yeah.
Because it's true, because, like, that's the one thing is, like, no one can place what his origins are, so it would make sense if he was a clone.
I thought that was really interesting when my dad brought that up, because he's like, yeah, well, if they had that technology to, you know, what they used for the Clone Wars, and that's what they used to clone Boba Fett, Jango Fett, whichever of the two, they could have easily used, like, gotten a hold of Yoda's DNA or whatever they need to clone him, and then cloned him into Baby Yoda, right? Mm-hmm. So, it's very interesting. But yeah, like, my dad, too, like, you saying, you know, you're not engrossed into the, you know, lore behind Star Wars and everything. Like, my dad is Trekkie fan through on through, like, Star Trek for the win all the time. But he did enjoy, you know, the original 3 Star Wars movies when they came out. That was, like, he was part of the generation who witnessed it firsthand when it came in theaters. And he did enjoy them because they were just so epic at the time. And he likes how Jon Favreau and the creators of The Mandalorian have kind of brought this show kind of back to those roots. It's not, you know, how epic they consider, using quotes for people who can't see me, how epic the newer movies are with all the technology that we have now to make them so cinematic. They have the use of the puppetry still. Everything still looks very, like, practical effects and stuff like that, like the old movies. And the thing that stood out to me that he said too was he's like, it reminds him of the old Western movies he used to watch as a kid, or the old Western shows, where, you know, it was like every episode the main hero, he'd stroll into town or ride into town, and there'd be some sort of thing he had to deal with, and then he'd deal with it, and then he'd ride on into the next. And then it kind of reminded me of, like, that's basically the premise of Supernatural. So like, that's how Supernatural started, right? They'd roll into town, fight whatever monster was, you know, the theme of the episode, and then they'd roll out of town onto the next adventure. So yeah, I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. And that's cool that they have that aspect for the formula of the show. But yeah.
I think, because last season of Mandalorian only had 8 episodes, so I think this one only has 8 as well. I think. But, who knows?
I guess so.
But we'll have to wait and see. It's kind of nice. It's this fun thing now for me and my parents that every Friday, you know, either that Friday or the Saturday, we're like, oh, Mandalorian, we get to watch a new episode. Because I know I had this debate with one of my coworkers at work, because there's that whole thing now where it's like you can either binge a show or you have to wait episodically. And I know for a lot of people now, and I don't know, it's just because binging culture is so popular, that they don't actually like waiting week to week to week for a show. And I know for me personally, I'm going to also pass the question to you as well, is, like, I kind of like somewhere in the middle, you know? I'm, you know, being a bit of a, not a cock tease, but, you know, not really picking a side. But for me, when it comes to, like, oh, there's shows I haven't seen before, like, I don't mind binging it if there's, like, a lot of seasons to get through. Yeah. But then, again, I also, and maybe just because growing up before PVR, you know, there was this whole excitement, like, or something to look forward to in your week. Like, oh, the new episode of this is coming out on Wednesday. And we didn't have PVRs to, like, skip commercials. So, like, commercial breaks, it was like, that was pee time. Oh, no, you couldn't pause it. Everything was live in the moment. You know, so I think that's why I still like the week to week sometimes for, like, new shows. Because it's like, it just reminds me of those times watching television with my family. But what do you prefer? Do you prefer binging, or would you rather watch things episodically, week to week?
See, I actually really like being able to watch the show week to week firsthand as my first experience watching the show. And then if I enjoy the show, I like going back and binging it. But the reason I do that, for me, being the film nerd that I am, is because I am able to focus on where the story's going.
Mm-hmm.
And then when when all is said and done and you kind of have seen how it happens, I like to go back and rewatch it and see if there's things I've missed, or I just get an even deeper appreciation for the story and the show as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how I've been able to, with majority of the shows that I am a really big fan of, been able to like just really have such a deep appreciation for them, is by doing it that way. And I find too, I mean everybody's guilty of it, but I notice a lot of people who binge watch don't really pay attention to the show all that much. You know, they have it on the background, they don't feel like they have to watch every episode. And again, this is me being a film nerd. I like to like pay attention to every episode because I just admire, you know, the filmmaking of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if there's things I miss or there's things that, you know, I need to pay attention to, I like that. You kind of pick up on some maybe like subtle things that they don't necessarily make obvious that could be important to the story and stuff like that, or little Easter eggs here and there. But yeah, I like to week first and then binge watch it, go back and binge watch it again.
So just like me, you're just gonna cop out and say both. I see.
Yep.
That was a long explanation. I'm just kidding.
I know I'm a bit of a yapper when it comes to my explanations. I apologize.
Yeah, that's why we started
very in depth.
That's why we started a podcast, because we honestly we talk so little. We felt we needed to record it for people. I think it's, again, yeah, with binging, like I feel sometimes grasp everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'll also like binge shows and like I'll have them on the background because I've seen them like 9 or 20 times. So like I could hear one line and already my brain, like I could already visualize it. If I'm doing dishes or something, like I already know what's happening.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I'm so in sync with the show. It's just like I know the beats of it. Like I know.
Yeah, totally. But even like for example with The Flash, I think I've rewatched the show like 4 times now, maybe, but every time I notice something I didn't notice before, because whether it was intentional or not, like just based off of how the story's gone up until like the season it's at now, there's always something I've noticed in the earlier seasons that connects to the story in the recent seasons, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Like I never thought of that before, and then it kind of just opens your mind to all these other possibilities for where the story could go in the show, and it's pretty cool.
Yar. I think I've watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine 3 times already.
Really?
Yeah. Because every time they're like, oh, the new season's coming out on Netflix, I'm like, I better rewatch it all again just to be safe.
Yeah.
And that's actually a show me and my parents are watching too. We're
Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah, we're at the... Where are we again? We're season 5, I think episode... I want to say 18, but I don't think so. But we're pretty close to like near the end of season 5.
Nice.
And after that, we just have 2 more seasons to go. And it was so funny because originally my parents were like, I don't know how we're going to watch all this TV. And like literally like every night, like they were watching it even like without me. Because they just,
really?
they love it that much. And I mean, I'm not offended because like I said, I've seen the show like 3 times.
Yeah.
The second the cold open happens or the episode starts, I'm like, I already know what's happening, but I love it. I want to watch it again.
Yeah. I'm actually rewatching the Sherlock TV series with Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman. Because I haven't seen it full on through in a long, long time. So I'm just rewatching it again, and I forgot how good that show is.
Right? And I mean, it's only what? 7, 8 episodes that are like an hour and a half each.
Yeah, it's like, isn't it 3 episodes per season? And there's what, 3 seasons?
Yar. And there's also a movie.
Right.
A movie tie-in. The Abominable Bride.
Yes.
I think, did we watch that in theaters? We might have, actually. No? Yes? Maybe? I know we did something special for that one. Maybe we saw it in theaters. I can't recall. But yeah, Sherlock is amazing. If you guys have not seen it, I highly recommend it. It is.
Oh, totally.
So good. I guess to be fair, though, if you're not into mystery solving, maybe this won't be your cup of tea. Found that out the hard way. I think that's in an earlier episode of the podcast when I found out one of my mom's friends like watched it, and they're like, we don't get it. And I was just like, how dare you? It is so good.
Yep.
But you have to remember that not everyone shares your opinions.
Exactly. Art is subjective.
That's what they tell me.
But no, it's awesome. It's so good. Just the characters, you know, I like Benedict Cumberbatch's portrayal of Sherlock. I think it's similar to Robert Downey Jr.'s version in just like his wittiness and just how like fast thinking he is and kind of oddball, but still like he's just it's awesome. It's you just have to watch it.
Right? I'm really sad because I know I don't think they were ever really in talks. I think it was just like a rumor like they were going to do another season. But
yeah.
I think at that point it was very difficult because already I think both Benedict Cumberbatch was playing Doctor Strange and Morgan Freeman was kind of doing his own thing. Or Martin Freeman, sorry. I was like, what the fuck am I
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman as Dr. Watson. So it's pretty much up in the future. I think it was mostly just a tease. Like, who knows? Maybe. It's like, no, give me a definitive answer. Are you? Are you?
Yeah.
Don't toy with my feelings, because I will not appreciate it.
Right?
But unfortunately, I think maybe the actors are a wee bit too busy now to be doing it. And I mean, to be fair, I don't know what it was like trying to film those. Because again, like we said, they're almost like episodic movies. Like
yeah.
Air quotes, it's a TV show, but like some of them are like, I think all of them are average at
hour
least
and a
hour and a half.
Yeah.
So like, like it's a lot.
And like so well done. Like it's
oh yeah.
Like after watching the first episode again, I'm like, wow, like this kept my attention the entire time.
Right.
Like I've seen it before, but still, like it was engaging. The visuals, just the transitions, and just like all of his like the computer stuff, not the computer stuff. God, here we go again. Just the effects they use for like him showing that his brain's like, you know, the wheels are turning and he's just thinking, and you can see like all the numbers that fly up on the screen and the connections to things and what he's observing. I'm like, that's just so cool. Like, yeah.
Have you watched the one on Netflix, Enola Holmes?
I saw it. I have not watched it, but I saw that it's on Netflix. I've seen like the little trailer that they play for it when you like scroll over it, but I haven't watched it yet. No.
I see what you mean. When you were like, I watched it, and I was like, oh, and then you're like, but I haven't, and I was like, and then I was like, oh, okay, I see, I got it.
Yeah.
My parents were pretty stoked for that one, so we watched it, I think, a day or two after it came out.
Yeah.
On Netflix, because they really, really wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really entertaining. I think Millie Brown. I think she does a really good job. It also has Henry Cavill as Sherlock, and then the guy from Hunger Games as Minecraft.
Yeah.
That was my thought. The only thing I wasn't a super huge fan of is like they made I know Minecraft is kind of like a dick, you know, especially like going back to like what we were just talking about, like Sherlock, you know, but I think he's always been like the opposite foil of Sherlock, you know, in many ways. And this one, to me, he just felt like he was just like, I'm the asshole. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know how I feel about this. Like, that's like too much asshole for my liking.
Yeah. Also, I don't know how I feel about Henry Cavill being Sherlock Holmes, just because, like...
Oh, yeah.
He's Superman, and, like, I don't know. I mean, it's like anybody could say it. Once somebody really plays a character very, very well, you can't see anybody else being that character except that actor. So Benedict Cumberbatch, and Robert Downey Jr. too, he does a good job as Sherlock Holmes, but Benedict Cumberbatch really embodied Sherlock Holmes. I think he did a great job as like a modern day Sherlock Holmes.
Right. I think Henry, for like the minimal role he had to play for this, I thought he did fine.
Yeah.
I think the only thing though is like, unfortunately, at some points the movie almost lost my attention. I definitely felt kind of drifting off a little bit. But then Millie Brown would like...
Millie Bobby Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown would like...
11 from Stranger Things.
Nah. Hillbilly Chamberlain, Hillbilly Brown. She would like look... There was a lot of like... she would like talk to the audience moments in the film.
Yeah.
So anytime she did that, then I was like right back into it. Because like she was just so charismatic. So I was like, alright, I'll keep watching.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I think as a different piece of Sherlock literature, I thought it was really cool. And they, spoiler alert for anybody, but they're clearly leading on to potentially doing another one. But I've not done any research to kind of clarify that otherwise. I feel like they probably left that, you know, just cuz. Because Netflix is like, money? I mean, Netflix, like, sometimes it just I know, like, the joke is, like, they just fucking pop out anything. But it does just feel like they're just like, sequels, boom, boom. What's your story idea? Boom, 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 boom.
Right? It's like they've got a suggestion box, and they just, like, they reach in and take out whatever it says, and they're like, do it.
Yeah, do it. I have a story about a girl. She wants to be a singer, but she's really shy. But then when she starts singing, all these cute teenage boys appear behind her. Brilliant! Let's make it! Hi, so I want to make a film about a serial killer. He may or may not have done it. Oh my god, crime sold! You get a Netflix deal. Do you want a documentary? Boom, slam dunk.
They're like the Oprah Winfrey of filmmaking. You get a Netflix deal. You get a Netflix deal. Everybody gets a Netflix deal.
You just make content for us, baby.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I think they do create some pretty good content, but I also feel like they make... I don't know. They make a lot of good stuff. I feel like they make a lot of mediocre stuff.
Yeah.
And then they also have the really bottom of the barrel. But I also feel like they're more likely, though, to take more risks.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, I think Stranger Things for them was probably such a big risk. And, what a huge payoff. So maybe that's why they're just what? Yeah. Let's just throw shit at everything. And who knows what sticks.
Right? Exactly.
Although supposedly they lose a lot of money by doing that. But
yeah,
we shall see. We shall see. As our overlords will tell us one day. But I think on that note, the overlords have just told me that is the end of our podcast.
Yes, it is. But I will end this off. We don't have to put this in the podcast if we don't want to, because I know it's already a little early. But I wanted to tease possibly discussing Christmas movies coming up, because it's getting to that time to do the Hallmark W channel, whatever the hell freaking crazy movies, Christmas movies that are on TV. And I am going to start it off by saying I watched The Holiday on Netflix the other day. If you haven't seen it yet, you should watch it so we can discuss it. But okay. Yes.
Fuck yeah.
What do you think? Should that be the next podcast episode?
We'll see how it goes.
Okay. I know you probably need to be able to watch some movies, but I wasn't sure if you guys have started watching some of the Christmas movies yet or not.
Oh, we already have our dates planned to get fucking wasted and just watch Christmas films. We are getting ready. And then we'll obviously watch some classics.
Yes.
But
my grandma said that there's one that she watched the other day called Don't Kiss the Man in the Christmas Sweater, and already I'm like, that sounds like it needs to be watched.
So many questions.
Right? So if you
questions.
if you see that movie, watch it. Because I'm so curious now.
Okay. I'm intrigued, but I also feel a little dangerous.
Yes.
I feel like my life's in danger.
Can't be any worse than Holiday in Handcuffs or whatever that one is that you told me about.
Yo, that is a national treasure. Holiday in Handcuffs is amazing. If we want to talk about some shit ones, I got a long ass list for you.
All right. Well, okay, guys, get ready, because the next few episodes, if we don't do one specifically dedicated for it, which I'm guessing we probably will, but get ready. We are going to be discussing all about the Christmas movies on TV.
Yes, we will.
If you have recommendations, leave them now or forever hold your peace.
That's when I said, I object. I don't got time for this. Donkey. But anyways. Y'all, number 4. Have a happy Tuesday, and we hope to see you back here just to, brighten your day, because soon, I say soon, but winter snow is here, so it's gonna be dark days, metaphorically, and, it will be dark outside, so we are here to spread any kind of happiness for you. We hope you enjoy our podcast, and we will see you next time. Goodbye!
Yeah. Goodbye!
Monkey.
And
slap. Where my Christmas hoes at?
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho. How do I stop?